No matter how beautiful a dua we make, at the end of the day, these are our words. And nothing can beat the words of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No matter how beautiful dua you make, there's definitely no way our words can match with the Prophet alaihi wasallam's words. Great number of us, majority of us, do not know. We know maybe one or two Rabbanas, one or two Allahumma, so forth. But so this book gives us an opportunity to, if we cannot at least memorize, then at least read through this, as not reading as that we read through a book, but rather read through it in a sense that you're making dua to Allah, and in front of it is your translation as well. So if we make a habit every day to take 10 minutes to do this, inshallah ta'ala, very soon we'll become very fluent and we'll start understanding these du'as, and eventually, inshallah, bit by bit we'll start be able to also memorize them. So this is the last day from the 7 days that we have began last week, alhamdulillah. So we should inshallah follow along with the English if you would like to, and then at least say Ameen inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم إني أسألك بمحمد نبيك وإبراهيم خليلك وموسى نجيك وعيسى روحك وكلمتك وبكلام موسى وإنجيل عيسى وزبور داود وفرقان محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وبكل وحي أوحيته أو قضاء قضيته أو سائل أعطيته أو فقير أغنيته أو غني أفقرته أو ضال هديته وأسألك باسمك الذي وضعته على الأرض فاستقرت وعلى السماوات فاستقلت وعلى الجبال فرست وأسألك باسمك الذي استقر به عرشك وأسألك باسمك الطاهر المطهر المنزل في كتابك من لدنك وباسمك الذي وضعته على النهار فاستنار وعلى الليل فأظلم وبعظمتك وكبريائك وبنور وجهك أن ترزقني القرآن العظيم وتخلطه بلحمي ودمي وسمعي وبصري وتستعمل به جسدي بحولك وقوتك فإنه لا حول ولا قوة إلا بك. اللهم لا تؤمنا مكرك ولا تنسنا ذكرك ولا تهتك عنا سترك ولا تجعلنا من الغافلين. اللهم إني أسألك تعجيل عافيتك ودفع بلائك وخروجا من الدنيا إلى رحمتك يا من يكفي عن كل أحد ولا يكفي منه أحد، يا أحد من لا أحد له، يا سند من لا سند له، انقطع الرجاء إلا منك. نجني مما أنا فيه وأعني على ما أنا عليه مما نزل بي بجاه وجهك الكريم وبحق محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم عليك آمين. اللهم احرسني بعينك التي لا تنام واكرفني بركنك الذي لا يرام وارحمني بقدرتك علي فلا أهلك وأنت رجائي. فكم من نعمة أنعمت بها علي قل لك بها شكري وكم من بلية ابتليتني بها قل لك بها صبري. فيا من قل عند نعمته شكري فلم يحرمني ويا من قل عند بليته صبري فلم يخذلني ويا من رآني على الخطايا فلم يفضحني. يا ذا المعروف الذي لا ينقضي أبدا ويا ذا النعماء التي لا تحصى أبدا. أسألك أن تصلي على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبك أدرأ في نحور الأعداء والجبابرة. اللهم أعني على ديني بالدنيا وعلى آخرتي بالتقوى واحفظني فيما غبت عنه ولا تكلني إلى نفسي فيما حضرت. يا من لا تضره الذنوب ولا تنقصه المغفرة هب لي ما لا ينقصك واغفر لي ما لا يضرك إنك أنت الوهاب. أسألك فرجا قريبا وصبرا جميلا ورزقا واسعا والعافية من جميع البلاء وأسألك تمام العافية وأسألك دوام العافية وأسألك الشكر على العافية وأسألك الغنى عن الناس، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم اجعل سريرتي خيرا من علانيتي، واجعل علانيتي صالحة. اللهم إني أسألك من صالح ما تؤتي الناس من المال والأهل والولد غير ضال ولا مضل. اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك المنتخبين الغر المحجلين الوفد المتقبلين. اللهم إني أسألك نفسا بك مطمئنة تؤمن بلقائك وترضى بقضائك وتقنع بعطائك. اللهم لك الحمد حمدا دائما مع دوامك، ولك الحمد حمدا خالدا مع خلودك، ولك الحمد حمدا لا منتهى له دون مشيتك، ولك الحمد حمدا لا يريد قائله إلا رضاك، ولك الحمد حمدا عند كل طرفة عين وتنفس كل نفس. اللهم أقبل بقلبي إلى دينك، واحفظ من ورائنا برحمتك. اللهم ثبتني أن أزل، واهدني أن أضل. اللهم كما حلت بيني وبين قلبي فحل بيني وبين الشيطان وعمله. اللهم ارزقنا من فضلك ولا تحرمنا رزقك، وبارك لنا فيما رزقتنا، واجعل غناءنا في أنفسنا، واجعل رغبتنا فيما عندك. اللهم اجعلني ممن توكل عليك فكفيته، واستهداك فهديته، واستنصرك فنصرته. اللهم اجعل وساوس قلبي خشيتك وذكرك، واجعل همتي وهواي فيما تحب وترضى. اللهم وما ابتليتني به من رخاء وشدة فمسكني بسنة الحق وشريعة الإسلام. اللهم إني أسألك تمام النعمة في الأشياء كلها، والشكر لك عليها حتى ترضى، وبعد الرضا الخيرة في جميع ما يكون فيه الخيرة، ولجميع ميسور الأمور كلها لا بمعسورها يا كريم. اللهم فالق الإصباح وجاعل الليل سكنا والشمس والقمر حسبانا، قوّني على الجهاد في سبيلك. اللهم لك الحمد في بلائك وصنيعك إلى خلقك، ولك الحمد في بلائك وصنيعك إلى أهل بيوتنا، ولك الحمد في بلائك وصنيعك إلى أنفسنا خاصة، ولك الحمد بما هديتنا، ولك الحمد بما أكرمتنا، ولك الحمد بما سترتنا، ولك الحمد بالقرآن، ولك الحمد بالأهل والمال، ولك الحمد بالمعافاة، ولك الحمد حتى ترضى، ولك الحمد إذا رضيت يا أهل التقوى ويا أهل المغفرة. اللهم وفقني لما تحب وترضى من القول والعمل والفعل والنية والهدى، إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من خليل ماكر عيناه ترياني وقلبه يرعاني، إن رأى حسنة دفنها وإن رأى سيئة أذاعها. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من البؤس والتباؤس. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من إبليس وجنوده. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من فتنة النساء. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من أن تصد عني وجهك يوم القيامة. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من كل عمل يخزيني، وأعوذ بك من كل صاحب يؤذيني، وأعوذ بك من كل أمل يلهيني، وأعوذ بك من كل فقر ينسيني، وأعوذ بك من كل غنى يطغيني. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من موت الهم، وأعوذ بك من موت الغم. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. Very limited number, about 50 or so were overnighted from California for the benefit of those who were in i'tikaf and wanted to get their copies. So alhamdulillah, if you had already pre-ordered, please go ahead first and you have first preference. And whatever's left over, inshallah, the brothers who would like to get it, you can purchase it. Otherwise, you can buy this beautiful book from Al-Balagh or Al-Rashad online. Definitely would advise all of us to get a copy and make a habit of reading this, inshallah ta'ala, every single day. May Allah accept the du'as we've been made in this past 7 days and make it a means of many of you taking this as a habit, inshallah. Ameen.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا إنا سنلقي عليك قولا ثقيلا إن ناشئة الليل هي أشد وطئا وأقوم قيلا إن لك في النهار سبحا طويلا واذكر اسم ربك وتبتل إليه تبتيلا رب المشرق والمغرب لا إله إلا هو فاتخذه وكيلا واصبر على ما يقولون واهجرهم هجرا جميلا وذرني والمكذبين أولي النعمة ومهلهم قليلا إن لدينا أنكالا وجحيما وطعاما ذا غصة وعذابا أليما يوم ترجف الأرض والجبال وكانت الجبال كثيبا مهيلا إنا أرسلنا إليكم رسولا شاهدا عليكم كما أرسلنا إلى فرعون رسولا فعصى فرعون الرسول فأخذناه أخذا وبيلا فكيف تتقون إن كفرتم يوما يجعل الولدان شيبا السماء منفطر به كان وعده مفعولا إن هذه تذكرة فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه سبيلا الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن ربك يعلم أنك تقوم أدنى من ثلثي الليل ونصفه وثلثه وطائفة من الذين معك والله يقدر الليل والنهار علم أن لن تحصوه فتاب عليكم فاقرؤوا ما تيسر من القرآن علم أن سيكون منكم مرضى وآخرون يضربون في الأرض يبتغون من فضل الله وآخرون يقاتلون في سبيل الله فاقرؤوا ما تيسر منه وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأقرضوا الله قرضا حسنا وما تقدموا لأنفسكم من خير تجدوه عند الله هو خيرا وأعظم أجرا واستغفروا الله إن الله غفور رحيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Inshallah, we will have the morning du'as. These are the askar that were taught to us by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be recited every morning.
Alhamdulillah, also we got a shipment of this last night. So if any one of you needed to purchase one of these cards, they have the 99 names of Allah on one side and then the morning du'as on the other. They're available at the reception outside.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم بك أصبحنا وبك أمسينا وبك نحيا وبك نموت وإليك النشور. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت. أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت. أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء لك بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام وعلى كلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. اللهم ما أصبح بي من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك، فلك الحمد ولك الشكر. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجز والكسل وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت عليك توكلت وأنت رب العرش الكريم. ما شاء الله كان وما لم يشأ لم يكن. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من شر نفسي ومن شر كل دابة أنت آخذ بناصيتها إن ربي على صراط مستقيم. اللهم عافني في بدني اللهم عافني في سمعي اللهم عافني في بصري. لا إله إلا أنت. اللهم عافني في بدني اللهم عافني في سمعي اللهم عافني في بصري. لا إله إلا أنت. اللهم عافني في بدني اللهم عافني في سمعي اللهم عافني في بصري. لا إله إلا أنت. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الكفر والفقر. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر. لا إله إلا أنت. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الكفر والفقر. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر. لا إله إلا أنت. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الكفر والفقر. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر. لا إله إلا أنت. اللهم رحمتك أرجو فلا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين وأصلح لي شأني كله. لا إله إلا أنت. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inshallah, as usual, we'll be going over some of the questions and answers. Bismillahi ta'ala wa bihi asta'inu. When does the Isha technically end? The time for Isha ends at the beginning of Fajr time. It is better and recommended to perform it in the first 2/3 of the night, but you can perform it all the way till the time when Fajr begins. The time that we end eating the suhoor, the time that Fajr time starts, the Isha time lasts all the way till then. The Farad, the Isha, if a person comes back from work, goes to sleep early before Isha sets in, for example, and if he wakes up before Fajr time begins, he can still perform the Isha Salah and it will be considered Ada, it is not Qada. Yeah, all those timings. For the Fajr time, it starts from when the Fajr time is mentioned on the timetable. This is when the sun is 18 degrees below the horizon, and it ends at sunrise, which is also printed on the timetable. And the Dhuhr time begins from the time that is given on the timetable, that is when the sun is at the zenith and the top, the highest most it gets in the horizon, and it ends at the Asr time. And the Asr, just till Asr time, and Asr time lasts till Maghrib time. Maghrib time lasts till Isha time. You notice a pattern? One common misconception in the Hanafi fiqh, the Maghrib time lasts all the way till Isha time, whereas in the Shafi fiqh and other madhahib, it ends earlier. But in the Hanafi fiqh, the Maghrib time lasts all the way till Isha time. What is the awrah in the parts of the body that must be covered? And can I wear shorts? And am I allowed to pray in shorts? If not, can I at least wear shorts? Yeah, so the awrah is that part of the body that is mandatory to cover at all times for the males. In the Hanafi fiqh, it's min taht surra ila taht rukba, from below the navel to below the knee. So the navel is not part of the awrah, but the knee is part of the awrah. So from below the navel to below the knee. So such shorts which cover the knee is included in the awrah. Knee is not above the knee, it's below the knee. The awrah ends at below the knee. So the knee is included in the awrah. So this is, what are you saying, Uncle? Right. So this is, we're talking about the awrah. This is mandatory to cover at all times. And then when a person is performing salah, Rasulullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-A'raf, Ya Bani Adam, khudhu zinatakum inda kulli masjid. O Bani Adam, when you come to perform salah, don't just cover your awrah, but come in a complete dress. So if you are going to visit any worldly king or any worldly president, if you got an invitation for the iftar at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in the White House with Barack Hussein Obama, then you would not necessarily go in shorts. You try to wear your best clothes. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the king of all kings. He's the Malikul Muluk, the king of all kings. And when we are in salah, we are directly conversing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, then Allah is responding, Hamidani Abdi, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Athna Ali Abdi, Malik Yawmiddin, Majjadani Abdi, Iyaka na'budu, Iyaka nasta'in, Hada bayni wa bayna Abdi. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, Hada li Abdi wa li Abdi ma sal. And so Allah is responding to us and when we are praying to Him. And that's our fault that we don't have that we don't have that realization, we're not aware of that, conscious of that. But this is the reality. So we should come in the complete dress. The mushrikeen of Makkah used to make tawaf naked because we committed sins in these clothes. How can we wear these clothes? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded by saying, وَإِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً قَالُوا وَجَدْنَا عَلَيْهَا آبَاءَنَا وَاللَّهُ أَمْرَنَا بِهَا قُلْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَأْمُرُ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ أَتَقُولُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. You do indecent acts and then you say that Allah has commanded us to do this. This is not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather Allah says, يَا بَنِي آدَمَ خُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مسجد. When you come to perform salah in the masjid, then come in your complete dress. So you should wear full dress. Plus, if you're even the top garment, if it's not long enough, then when a person goes in ruku and sajda, areas of the awrah are exposed, and we had covered this already previously. Alright, so inshallah, basically, when the kids are wearing shorts in itikaf as well, when you're making wudu, you're sitting on to make wudu, then you're exposing your thigh. And when you're making ruku, I don't believe they're doing it in the prayer, perhaps in the wudu area, they're feeling a little bit homely in downstairs. They're getting used to it after 9 days. So, समझ में आ गया सबको. Yeah, so basically I think everyone got it now that when you take your thobe off and you're in your shorts, then we should not be making wudu like that because you are exposing your thighs. You're exposing your thighs to people who don't want to see them. Because they're fasting, they're in the masjid. Yes. Yeah, your wudu account, exposing the aura will not break your wudu. There's a time and place for everything. Okay. Next one. What is the difference between a Muslim and a mu'min? What is the difference between a Muslim and a mu'min? Islam and Iman. What's the difference between Islam and Iman? This is a very long discussion that in the books of fiqh, especially under the shuruhat of hadith, under the hadith Jibra'il, when Jibra'il alayhi salam came and asked Mal Islam and he asked Mal Iman, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded. But the summary of the whole discussion is that sometimes we see certain ayats in the Quran where Islam and Iman have been declared as different things, and some ayats we see that they are synonymous. One example of Islam and Iman, the one who has Islam is a Muslim, the one who has Iman is a mu'min. That they are different entities. We see it in Surah Al-Hujurat. قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم. That the Bedouin tribe, they came and they said, Amanna, we are mu'mins. Then Allah Ta'ala said, say, Lam tu'minu, you are not a mu'min, walakin qulu aslamna. Say, you just have entered into the presence of Islam. So over here, what do we understand? Wow, Islam and Iman are two different things. Because these Bedouins who accepted Islam, they claim to be mu'mins. And then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, no, you are not a mu'min, you are just a Muslim. So they are two different things. Whereas then if you progress onwards to Surah Al-Dhariyat, قَالَ فَمَا خَطَبُكُمْ 27th juz, first beginning pages, beginning ayat, beginning verses. قَالَ فَمَا خَطَبُكُمْ أَيُّهَا الْمُرْسَلُونَ قَالُوا إِنَّا أُرْسِلْنَا إِلَىٰ قَوْمٍ مُجْرِمِينَ لِنُرْسِلَ عَلَيْهِمْ حِجَارَةً مِّن طِينٍ مُّسَوَّمَةً عِندَ رَبِّكَ لِلْمُسْرِفِينَ فَأَخْرَجْنَا مَنْ كَانَ فِيهَا مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ فَمَا وَجَدْنَا فِيهَا غَيْرَ بَيْتٍ مِّنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Over here they seem to be synonymous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about Ibrahim alayhi salam that he was هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ ضَيْفِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ الْمُكْرَمِينَ. Do you know the story? Allah says, have you heard? That's literally a question from Allah. هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ. Did you get the news of the story of the angels who came to visit Ibrahim alayhi salam? دَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ فَقَالُوا سَلَامًا. They came and said salam. And Ibrahim alayhi salam said قَالَ سَلَامٌ. He said salam back to them. قَوْمٌ مُكْرَمُونَ. That these are honored people. فراغ إلى أهله, he ran to his wife. فجاء بعجل سمين, he brought a roasted calf to present to them. And he asked them to eat. قال لا تأكلون, and do you not eat? And they said, no, we cannot eat. فوجس منهم خيفة, he felt afraid of them. قالوا لا تخف, they said, don't be afraid, we're not eating. Not because we are your enemy, because back then the enemies were so honorable, they would not eat the food of their enemy. So he thought that they're not eating, so maybe they're my enemies. They said, no, we're not your enemies, we are angels. And we are actually on a mission to go destroy the Qawm of Lut, but we stopped by here in transit just to give you one glad tidings. بَشَّرْنَاهُ بِغُلَامٍ عَلِيمٍ. Over here it's Alim. And so Safat is Halim, but both are ayats. That we have come to give you the glad tidings of a son. You're going to have a son who's going to be born to you. And then they went on to Lut alayhi salam. When they came to Lut alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam still asked them, قَالَ فَمَا خَطْبُكُمْ أَيُّهَا الْمُرْسَلُونَ. What else is your objective? They said, إِنَّا أُرْسِلْنَا إِلَىٰ قَوْمٍ مُجْرِمِينَ. We have been sent to a mujrim people, sinful nation. And we are going to, Allah is going to send upon them stones and He's going to destroy them. This is the nation of Lut alayhi salam, this town of Sodom. مُسَوَّمَةً عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ لِلْمُسْرِفِينَ. And the stones are marked, each one is marked who is going to kill and destroy. فَأَخْرَجْنَا مَنْ كَانَ فِيهَا مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. We have been instructed to take out all the mu'mineen from there. Before the adhab comes, like the governments, before they send in their air force in the start of the bombardment, shock and awe, they pull out their staff from the embassy. We have extract them, their citizens, or at least those who work for the State Department are taken out. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here, فَأَخْرَجْنَا مَنْ كَانَ فِيهَا مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. We have been instructed to take out all the mu'mineen. And then it switches the word. The next ayat. فَمَا وَجَدْنَا فِيهَا غَيْرَ بَيْتٍ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. But we only found one house of Muslims. What does that tell us? That Muslims and mu'mins are the same. Because we have been instructed to take out all the mu'mineen, but we only found one house of Muslimin. This is why it's so confusing for the Hafiz Sahib. Tarawih is now over, alhamdulillah. So فَأَخْرَجْنَا مَنْ كَانَ فِيهَا مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Next ayat, فَمَا وَجَدْنَا فِيهَا غَيْرَ بَيْتٍ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. So this ayat tells us that Muslim and mu'min is the same thing. So certain ayats are telling us Muslim and mu'min is the same thing, from Surah Zariyat. And the ayats from Surah Al-Hujurat tell us, the Arab said, Amanna, Allah says, Lam tu'minu. Say you're not mu'min, Aslamna, you're Muslim. So they're different things. So what is going on? Are they the same thing or different, and what are they? How do we define them? So our Shaykh Mutiullah al-Haq, he mentioned a very beautiful thing. He said, Al-Islamu wal-Imanu idha ijtama'a iftaraqa wa idha iftaraqa ijtama'a. He said, Islam and Iman idha ijtama'a. When both of these words are used in the same sentence, ijtama'a fil lawd, iftaraqa fil ma'na. If they are both in the same sentence, then they have different meanings. Wa idha iftaraqa, and if they are both independently mentioned by themselves without the other word around nearby, then ijtama'a, they both have the same meaning. I'll explain this first and then I'll go back to this statement, then you'll understand it. Right now you didn't understand what I said. So he said, what it means, first of all, is that Islam is the outward compliance with the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, outward compliance with the body parts. And Iman is inner belief. That's why in the hadith Jibreel, when Jibreel alayhi salam came and asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the form of a human being, he said, قَالَ مَا الْإِسْلَامِ. What is Islam? So how did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam respond? That the verbal testification, أَن تَشْهَدَ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَأَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ وَتُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةَ وَتُؤْتِ الزَّكَاةَ وَتَصُومَ رَمَضَانَ وَتَحُجُّ الْبَيْتِ. I think everyone understands the meaning of that hadith. The 5 pillars of Islam. That you fast in the month of Ramadan, you perform salah, you go for hajj, you give zakah. These are the pillars of Islam. So the outward compliance is Islam. It said, Mal Iman, what is Iman? What is belief? He said, An tu'mina billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rasulihi wal yawmil akhiri. That you believe in from your heart in Allah, in the angels, in the books, in the prophets, in the articles of faith were mentioned, in the day of judgment, etc. So Iman is internal belief. And Islam is external compliance. So when you are talking about Islam and Iman together, that we have to have Iman and Islam both. We need Iman and Islam. If you use it together in the same sentence like that, then Iman means only inner belief and Islam means only external practice. That's why you're talking about both. So when you're using it in a sentence and you say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us Muslim and mu'min. So Muslim here means among those who comply externally to the orders of Allah with their physical body. And mu'min means those who believe from their heart in the dictates of faith, the articles of faith. But if you just say he is a true mu'min, that it means the one who has inner belief, such strong inner belief, which is not limited to his inside and hidden there, but rather is manifested in his actions. So from inside it goes out. That inner belief which pushes a person onto action. And if you say that person is a true Muslim, that means that person who is outwardly compliant, and this outward compliance is a result of inner belief. So from outside you go in is Muslim, from inside you go out is mu'min. Al-Islam wal-Iman Islam and Iman يجتمعان في الولي العاشق ويفترقان في الفاسق والمنافق. That Islam and Iman both are present together in a person who is a true lover of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he has outward compliance and he has inner belief. ويفترقان, and they separate in a fasiq and in a munafiq. How so? A munafiq is the one who has complete outer compliance. He has Islam but he doesn't have Iman. You better have Islam to be a true hypocrite. Otherwise he's not a munafiq. He's just a normal kafir. But a munafiq is the one who has Islam, he has to have Islam. Do you follow what? Is Islam meaning? Outer compliance, but is devoid of Iman. And what about the fasiq? The fasiq is the one who has belief. He's a mu'min, from inside he believes, but there's deficiency in his Islam, in his action. So fasiq has Iman, he said, I believe that alcohol is haram, but he's drinking. I believe riba is haram, but he's still eating riba. I sincerely believe Fajr is farad and Isha is farad, but he's sleeping, not performing the prayers. So what is this person called? Fasiq, sinner. So this is a sinner. He's not a kafir, he's a fasiq. So he has Iman, he believes, but his Iman is so weak that his deficiency is in his Islam and his compliance. And a munafiq, a hypocrite on the other hand, has complete Islam. Outward compliance, he's there in the first stuff, he has to keep up the show, he's an agent, he's a mole, he's playing a role, he's acting like he's a Muslim because he's trying to hurt Muslims. So he's going to be in the first stuff at the masjid, he's always going to be there, he's going to be participating in jihad with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam too. He does everything, this munafiq. So Islam is there, but inside, internally, there's no Iman. And the one who is the true wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has inner Iman as well as external Islam. So this is I don't know if the person who asked the question ever imagined it was going to go so long. What is the difference between Muslim and mu'min? This is a question somebody wrote. May Allah reward him. Right. Muhsin basically is the one Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked by Jibreel alayhi salam, Mal muhsin, mal ihsan ya Rasulullah. What is ihsan? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, ihsan is an ta'budallaha ka'annaka tarahu, fa in lam takun tarahu fa innahu yaraka. Ihsan is the highest level of Iman, that a person worships Allah as if he can see Allah. And if he does not have that highest level, then second highest level is that he worships Allah with such a realization that Allah is watching him. And it's not only in his salah. It's not only in his salah. Tusalli, no, it's ta'bud Allah. All forms of ibadah. Even when he's dealing with his wife, he deals with his wife in a condition he knows that Allah is watching him. When he deals with his customers, when he deals with his employer, when he is at work. So this ihsan is not limited only to ibadah and sajda and qiyamul layl and dua, and tahajjud and khatmul Quran. It also extends to all aspects of one's life. You don't leave the ihsan in the salah, in the masjid, and then you go outside, you forget about ihsan. The true muhsin is the one in all stages of his life, all phases of life, all facets of his life, in all occupations of his life. Whether they are ibadah, direct ibadah, or there are other forms of ibadah, he's always conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything he does. This is قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. That my living, my dying, my ibadat, everything is for Allah's sake, the one who has no partner. This is the highest level of ihsan. Right? Anything follow up on that? Yeah, so in those Bedouins, the question was about the Bedouins. What happened there is that they had just entered into Islam externally, but the reality of Iman had still not penetrated their hearts. So they were still in the process. Next question. How do you deal with a parent who is abusive of the other parent, and how do you do khidmah of this parent who is abusive and is always upset? And we cannot remove the abused parent from the environment because it will mean dividing them. So this is a very sad scenario mentioned in this question. And so the rights of the parents are there, and definitely in our Islam, but at the same time, if there's any dhulm and true, we should not take it into our own hand based on our own perception, but if there is genuine oppression taking place, then we have to help. We can help both of them. The beautiful hadith of Rasulullah comes to mind right here. Allah Ta'ala has put in my mind based on your talab, that we have to help both parents, the abuser and the abused. As Rasulullah said, "Unsur akhaka zaliman aw mazluma." That help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or the one being oppressed, whether he is zalim or mazlum. So the Sahaba naturally asked a question which you should be wondering too, that you should help the oppressed one. How should you help the oppressor? Helping the oppressor, you give them more weapons. What does it mean? So Rasulullah explained, you help the oppressed one by taking them out from that oppression, saving them from that oppression, and you help the oppressor, the zalim, the one who's doing the oppression, by stopping them from their oppression. So all of the rights, whether they are spouse or children, parents, ever anyone, they are all limited to under the obligation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's always supreme and first. لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. There is no obedience to any creation of Allah that incurs the disobedience of the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ إِحْسَانًا بِوَالِدَيْهِ حُسْنًا. That we have given the strong command that you should deal most nicely with one's parents. But وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا. But if they command you to commit shirk, then do not obey them. Like Sa'ad radiallahu anhu, his mother took a hunger strike. She said, I will die out of hunger if you do not renounce his deen. But he said, I cannot. Even though I am such an obedient son and he was such a loving son, that's why she was using this leverage against him. So over here, if there's genuine abuse taking place, we have to help the abused parent, and we have to help the abuser too by talking to elders and other people, family members perhaps, or someone who can have some influence on him, and try to stop that injustice that is taking place, that oppression, the dhulm that is taking place. But at the same time, maintain the highest respect outside of this activity that's taking place. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that even if they're mushrik, which is the biggest form of dhulm ever, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I didn't complete the ayah, فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا. Don't obey them when they command you to commit shirk. And the same ayah says, وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Stay with them in the worldly life and live with them in a good manner. So you should maintain good character and akhlaq with them. One Sahabiya radiallahu anha, I believe it was Asma radiallahu anha, when she asked that my mother who is a mushrika has come, how should I treat her? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Sili ummaki. Be kind and show good relations to your mother, even though she's a mushrika. Yeah, I mean, basically, if there is some disturbed family, then, and if we are aware of that, then we should try to, our best, make amr bil ma'roof and nahi al munkar, invite them towards good, and try to help them. And especially the extended family, when there are differences, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبَعَثُوا حَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا. Then some family members, some representatives from the girl's family, should meet representatives from the man's family. From the wife's family should meet the representatives of the husband's family and try to talk and put some pressure on the couple to. Yeah, I mean, if officially or unofficially, many of the masajid are already helping in these things. Alhamdulillah. Well, I mean, we should try to, these scenarios where are being presented where the father is being unjust to the kid. So, what are we going to do? We have to try to remedy the situation, whatever options are available, through counseling, through putting pressure on him, to saving him. And worst case scenario, then he will have to, if the father is, for example, I don't want you to imagine a scenario where he's bullying and hurting his own child without when he's in his right mind. So I will present a scenario that he's on drugs, just for me to make the example make sense to myself. Because the nature of a father and a mother, as taught in a deen, and the natural disposition of human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed love in the heart of the father and mother. The fact that that child is alive today, how old is this child? Is he 20 years old, 18 years old, 15 years old? Yeah, 20 years old. How his wujud, his presence, that he's alive at 20, is a manifest proof of the love of the father. How did he reach 20? Why didn't his father abandon him when he was born? Who took care of him? Who brought him home? The fact that this child is 20 years old means the father, kab se bully ban gaya. I don't know. This thing is really hard to swallow. That the father is a bully and putting him down, and that's why the child. There's sometimes more to it than it's what these kids are telling us. So we have to really read into the story. As it comes in the hadith or as mentioned, that if somebody comes with one eye in his hand, and it says that this man took out my eye from my whole eyeball came out of the socket, and still don't believe it until you hear his side of the story. So we have to listen to the father's side too. But because the fact that this child is 20 years old, it didn't happen without the father's complete involvement and the mother's involvement. Both parents were taking care of the child, that's why the child is alive. That's the biggest proof of the love of that father and mother. In any case, so that's why I said, for the example's sake, if he's on drugs and he's completely lost it, and that's why his natural fitri love that Allah has placed in the hearts of the parents has now been corrupted, in that case then of course you can save the child. Someone else will have to raise that child. He's not a child anymore, he's 20 years old. So he whatever assistance he needs from uncles and family members need to take over. So, and help out. These are more social issues. This is not really a fiqhi question to begin with. If you are praying witr in jama'ah and you read Durood Ibrahim in the second rak'ah, do you have to make sajda sahwa? So in the Hanafi fiqh, if you are doing a delay, unless any delay that is caused in the prayer will necessitate a sajda sahwa. So over here, after finishing the At-Tahiyyatu lillahi wa salawat wa tayyibat, and after finishing the tashahhud, you're supposed to move on to the next rukun. But what happened? You started reciting salawat. So Durood Sharif is a beautiful thing to recite, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, but in the right place, the right time. Not in the Qaida Ula. After the tashahhud, you're supposed to go on. In the Hanafi fiqh, I said. In other madhahib, of course, there is salawat too. So then this would necessitate a sajdatul sahwa because of the delay. Any delay, any unnecessary delay, for example, after finishing Subhana Rabbil Azim, Subhana Rabbil Azim, Subhana Rabbil Azim in your own prayer, then a person is just, daydreaming. He's looking at his toes, saying, I need to cut my nails. So if he's thinking about something, he's dreaming, he didn't even say anything, he didn't utter anything, but he just paused, and he's just wasting time. Khalas, that will necessitate a sajda sahw. Someone say, oh my God, that's so harsh. Because in salah, believe it or not, you're supposed to be focused. You're supposed to be focused, you're not supposed to be just sitting around. So once you finish the adhkar, you can make that ruku long as you want. You can make salah tasbih and make it the whole night you can spend in one ruku. It's fine, no sajda sahw. If you are actually engaged in dhikr, if you are saying Subhana Rabbiyal Azim and you're lost in the ocean of the grandeur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that how pure that being is, my Lord the great, Al-Azim, Rabbi Al-Azim, Subhana Rabbi Al-Azim. So if you're just saying that over and over again, you're genuinely making dhikr, the whole night goes in sajda, and then they wake you up, they shake you and break you for suhoor, say time's up, drink some water, that's fine, no sajda sahur. But if you are just sitting there, in ruku maybe is not a comfortable position. How about like qiyam, if you're just standing, and after you finish your Fatiha and Surah, you just stand. You're just thinking about what happened at work or whatever the case is. So then this will necessitate a sajda sahwa, an unnecessary delay. Ta'khir of the next rukun. You're supposed to go into ruku' and you're delaying your ruku'. Yeah, if you're in the jamaat behind the imam, yeah, if you're behind the imam, of course this doesn't apply. This is for munfarid or the imam himself. The imam himself this applies, or the one performing salah alone. If you're behind the imam, you're done, then you wait for the imam.
The question was, if you just read your salah slowly, so you don't rush into sajda and then so you're not taking too much time, you're not daydreaming, but you're going slow.
If you're reciting Quran slowly, so you take your time, that's good. You should do that. وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. Read slow as you want. I'm talking about you finish the recitation and then your thought is not finished. So you're working out like the imam after the salah, he said that some people said you led 3 rakats, some people said you led 4 rakats, and they were arguing, and he wasn't sure, everyone was confused, and one person got up and said that since you're all confused, I'm going to give you with 100% certainty, even the imam is confused, I'm telling you it was 3 rakat, it was not 4 rakat. And then they said, how do you know for sure? How can you tell when everyone is confused here? He said that, I don't want to tell you how, but trust me on this one. Then they really, really pushed him that you better tell us because we're all confused. Then he said that actually, what happens is that every day I go through the profit and loss and accounts of my 4 stores. So today I only went through 3 stores. And the imam said salam. So what happens is, if a person is performing salah on his own, he finished his Quran and then he's just sitting and thinking about things. That's wrong. Going to ruku before the imam, going to sajda before the imam, you want to beat the imam. So then this is wrong to do. But if the imam catches up to you in the same rukun, your salah is valid. Meaning you went into ruku before the imam went into ruku, and then the imam. Some people love to do that. When the imam is reciting, when he ends a surah or something, they put their hands down and sometimes go into ruku. And sometimes the imam continues the next surah. Then they have to come back out. Does that happen? Yeah, it happens. So if you go into ruku before the imam and then the imam catches you in the same ruku, you're okay. Yeah, if you say salam before the imam, then the imam catches you. This is strictly prohibited, it's wrong. But if the imam catches you in the salam, you're still okay. You should not, but you shouldn't. Otherwise, إنما جعل الإمام ليؤتم به ليقتدى به. The imam is made to follow, not to beat. You can race in other things. Don't try to race with the imam. Yeah, if the imam says Allahu Akbar, third rakat of witr, and somebody by mistake goes into ruku, that's fine. They just come back up. They don't make sajda behind the imam. By qadr thalatha tasbihat. Yeah, if the delay is like 3 subhanallah, 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 amount of time taken to say subhanallah 3 times, that much unnecessary delay. Okay, if the imam said assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and then the Hanafi fiqh, you start saying assalam after the imam said the first salam, then you start your salam too. And he was going slow in the second salam, so you ended up beating him for the second salam, but inshallah he will catch up, so you'll be fine. Yeah.
But you should wait technically for if you know that
if you know he's going to do it that slow, you should be going at the same pace as the Imam. Normally it's around the same pace everyone does. So if he said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah and then you started after him, you should remain after him. There has to be some unnaturally, the Imam is delaying it after first salam, he's pausing in midway. That's the only way you're going to surpass him. And he's not supposed to delay. That's the Imam's fault. Why is he saying Assalamu first salam and then stopping so that everyone goes ahead of him? The Imam said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah and you said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Yeah, he says we're really, I think we need to sleep, all of us. He said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah and you start after he starts, inshallah you'll stay behind him. Trust me, inshallah. Don't worry about it that much. Islam teaches we shouldn't become paranoid also. If the Imam said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, you start a little bit after him. If you're at the same rate, same speed, you will remain after him. You won't pass him, inshallah. If I join a congregation halfway through the first rak'ah, do I have to recite thana? If the Imam is reciting the Quran, then فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنْصِتُوا. Allah Ta'ala says, وَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنُ, when the Quran is being recited, فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ, listen attentively to it, and وَأَنْصِتُوا, and remain silent. So if the Quran is being recited, then you don't have to be reciting the thana afterwards. The thana is recited in the pause, the silent time before the Fatiha begins. Yeah, basically this is a masala that when a person is an imam, then he should make intention for all the men that are performing salah behind him, and that he is leading the women as well, who may be there. They are out of sight, but they should not be out of mind. Right? From the imam at least, not with respect to the salah. So he should make the intention that they are there. If he forgets, if he doesn't make intention, that's wrong. Because for their salah to be valid, there has to be the niyat of imamah should be there. For them to be able to follow the imam in the Hanafi fiqh. Because in the Hanafi fiqh what happens is, the concept in Hanafi fiqh is that the imam is representing the muqtadis. That's why man kana lahu imaman fa qira'atul imami lahu qira'ah. The imam's qira'at of Fatiha suffices for the muqtadi's qira'ah. And that's why there's a lot of different masala. But fundamentally, the principle wise, the imam salah is representing the muqtadi salah. Whereas in the Shafi fiqh, they're different. They're praying together. They're just performing salah together. Each one is performing his own salah. That's why the muqtadi, the follower, has to recite Fatiha in the Shafi fiqh. And that's why a person who's the imam is leading farad salah, a muqtadi can be leading any prayer. Imam is leading Taraweeh Salah, Sunnah, and then the Muqtadi can be doing Farad behind him in the Shafi fiqh. In the Hanafi fiqh, it's not possible because of the whole nature of Imamat and Iqtida is different. In the Hanafi fiqh, is that the Imam has to be at the same level or higher. So, same level is like normally you're performing Isha behind the Isha Imam, you're performing Taraweeh behind the Taraweeh, the Imam is leading Taraweeh, you're praying Taraweeh. The Imam is leading Witr, you're doing Witr. That's the same. Higher level means that you already prayed your Isha in your masjid, then you come to a masjid and they're performing Isha. So you can pray behind with a niyat of nafal. So the Imam is at a higher grade than you are. That's also permissible. If you're joining with the niyat of nafal, you make niyat of nafal. If you're Imam, you have to make the intention of being the Imam of all the men and the women praying behind you. You don't have to say it. Niyat means aqdul qalb, deciding from the heart. So niyat means that you decide in your heart. You intend in your heart. You don't have to articulate it. Okay. If after a man is married, do parents have to give zakat for his son? And or do they have to still give each year's qurbani? Is that permissible or not? After a man is married, do parents have to give zakat for him? Actually, parents never have to give zakat. Why? For the children. Because when they're not baligh, when they're not of age, then there is no zakat farad. If there's a child who has a college fund, there's no zakat on that college fund if it's actually on his name. Because there's no zakat on minors. And because zakat and salat and hajj and fasting become farad only when you become baligh. And after a person becomes baligh, then he's independent in the sharia. He's supposed to give his own zakah. Yes, parents can give, they don't have to. The word was have to. Do they have to give zakah? Way before he gets married. They don't have to. They never had to. And when he becomes baligh, then if they want to, then they can. But they have to tell the child. Even if they don't tell him the amount so he doesn't get too excited, they say there's some money in your account. Because he's baligh, so according to Sharia, he's an adult. But in society, because the way society is and this whole adolescent culture where kids are treated as kids, so they remain kids. In the deen of, there is no adolescence. You're either a minor, not baligh, or you're baligh, you're a full adult. Salat, zakat, som, hajj, everything is as it's farad on a 35-year-old, it's as equally farad on a 15-year-old. It's the same thing. And they were treated as adults, they were given responsibility as adults, and that's why they matured so quickly. Now they're kept as babies, so they act like babies until they reach legal drinking age or something. So that's why we have Muhammad ibn Qasim al-Saqafi. He conquered all these lands at the age of 17 years old, all the way to Multan in Sindh. And Tariq ibn Ziyad, 19 years old, entered into Spain. So these teenagers, they did so many great things because they were treated as adults. They were the leaders of armies, they were generals of armies. And they're 17 years old. What a 17-year-old just gets his driving license if he took driver ed. And now they were generals of armies because they were. Any case, so you don't have to. But if the parent does, then he has to take permission. Why? Because innamal a'malu bin niyat. So if the father says that I have kept a lot of money, mashallah, this is a rich father, he kept a lot of money for his son. So his teenage son has money on his name and he doesn't even know about it. And then the father gives the zakah, he calculates it. He's such a concerned father, he calculates the zakat on behalf of his son. If he doesn't inform him, the zakat is not ada. Because the son never made niyyah. You cannot become the wakil and give the zakah on behalf of your son without the son making you the wakil, giving you the power of attorney to discharge the zakat on his behalf. So you have to tell your son and daughter that, son, there's some money I put on your name. Don't ask me how much it is now, you're too young. But I will give the zakat on your behalf. Do you give me the authority to do so? So hopefully if he's a good son, he'll give you authority. If he says no, then you can transfer the funds into your own account. Okay. Likewise with the qurbani question, the qurbani, you have to tell them that I'm doing the qurbani on your behalf. When they're not baligh, there is no qurbani. When they're baligh, there is qurbani, but they have to have the niyyah as well. Qurbani, not sadaqatul fitr. Sadaqatul fitr is on behalf of any baby that's born before morning on Eid. You don't have to ask them permission. Sadaqatul fitr is very different from this one. Sadaqatul fitr is given on behalf of all the people in your family, even the little babies. You give on behalf until they're baligh. And with respect to zakat, I was emphasizing that you don't give it when they're minors, and when they become baligh, then they're supposed to have the intention.
Just a point of clarification: if separate books are kept for the accounting purposes, then separate zakah is first for that mal. Similarly, if unified books are kept, or even though the son may have his own job, his own income, then singular zakat will suffice.
Yeah, if there's some bank that the son is earning and the father is earning and both are putting in one account, then if they give zakat on that account together, then both the father and son, both of those who are depositing money in the account have to make the niyyah that we are giving joint zakat on our joint account. Innamal a'malu bin niyat. First hadith of Bukhari. If the husband and wife have arguments because of mother-in-law, is it better for the couple to live separate from in-laws, or does the wife have a right to ask to live separate from in-laws? So this is, we already covered this, mother-in-law, father-in-law. Was it yesterday? Or the day before? One of the days. We talked about it. We said that how the khidmah of the mother-in-law, father-in-law is rewarding for the wife, and it will create love in her marriage, and she herself will be a beneficiary of that. She'll be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will soften the heart of her own husband, so it's in her own interest. But at the same time, to balance it out, you should not force women beyond what they can, because it is responsibility of the sons to take care of their parents, not of the daughter-in-laws. So it's technically not farad on them, but it will benefit them. They will be rewarded if they do so. Over here is talking about living separate. Does the wife have a right to ask to live separate? If you want to go straight to the books of law, how much the right the wife has? She has a right to separate, meaning one bedroom that is completely separate, with none of the in-laws, brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, mother-in-laws entering that bedroom. So she has the right to that much privacy. That's the right. If the husband is not in a position to provide that, then he is sinful. And if he's not in a position to provide that a man, then he should not get married. He cannot get married. He has to be in a position to provide a room, not necessarily an entire house. So if the kitchen is shared and other parts are shared, but she has the comfort of her own privacy in her room, that's the bare minimum right that she has. Doesn't mean that he cannot provide a separate house. If he can afford it, then he should. And if that will help things, then might be based on the circumstance. I cannot comment on how bad the situation is, what's going on. But as far as the fiqh is concerned, the right of the wife is to a separate room.
Wouldn't the right of the husband's parents supersede the right of the wife if husband's parents deserve or need him to take care of them?
Yeah. In which sense?
Like wife is posting that I want to get separated. I cannot live with your parents, I cannot deal with them. And now?
Yeah, if the wife is saying that I cannot deal with your parents, I cannot deal with them, and the parents absolutely need the service of the son, right? So then the wife has to be provided a separate room, of course, which naturally would be in our normal culture, I'm sure. And if that is provided, then her minimum rights are fulfilled. So then the husband has to make the call about and say that, no, I am providing you your basic minimum rights.
The reality is that our traditional parents, they can't live on their own. They need somebody to stay with them.
Yeah.
So you say absolute need that basically is for them to live with their...
Yeah, it depends. If there are other sons too, how many sons there are, they could share it. Maybe whoever has a more accommodating wife, that son can. If one son is taking care of them, then the other son would not share. If no one is there to take care of the parents, of course it becomes binding on whichever son. If there's only one son, or the other sons are absolutely in a different country, there's no question about it. He has to go. That's what I'm saying. It depends on the whole family scenario. We cannot pass any blanket judgment here, sitting here. I heard something about 4 wives and I already covered that. I don't know the rest of the question. What was it? Okay, yeah. What is the ruling on birth control? Birth control, if it is done because a person is afraid that I cannot provide for children, and then it is haram with that intention. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُهُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ. We will provide for your children, we will provide for you. You have to have yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it is only because of who's going to provide for them. But if there is not permanent contraception, removable contraception that is used, not irreversible, but reversible contraception, not permanent surgery, but reversible one, that if it is used because of various different reasons, there's quite a bit of leeway actually, it would be permissible. Reasons include the health of the wife. She's not able to, she cannot become pregnant so quickly after delivery. She needs a gap between the deliveries. Or even if it is that she is not that strong, not that weak, she doesn't have an extended family to help in the tarbiyah of the children, and she wants to focus on the tarbiyah. Even this has been written as if that is the genuine intention, that I don't have all the grandmothers and aunts and khalas and everyone in entire Muslim community and extended family to make the tarbiyah. I need 2 years, 3 year gap so I can focus on one. Then after 3 years I can have another one. Then I can have another one after that, inshallah. So that is the reason why the contraception is used, and that is also permissible. Yeah, no, that's a surgical procedure that will stop any future children, whether on the male or the female. Yeah, but no, taking surgery is not permissible. There's obviously, you don't have to go into the details of the whole thing, but there's so many easily available reversible forms of contraception that can be used short term. I really can't, sorry, I can't hear. If there is such medical condition that any future child that you will bear will actually potentially be hurt, then to protect her from that, then perhaps permanently tubal ligation could be done, would be a permissible option because of the harm to the unborn child and the future child. If you are wearing regular socks under the leather socks, can you still make masah? Yes, you can make masah on the leather socks, even if you're wearing regular socks inside. Is your question? I heard you said yes. Okay. What is the ruling for a leader who governs other than the Quran? Is he a kafir or no? So, yeah, the Quran says literally, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ فَاسِقُونَ and ظَالِمُونَ. This is a famous mutashabih ayah. That whoever passes a judgment contrary to that which is Allah has revealed in the Quran, whoever does not pass judgments based on that which Allah has revealed in the Quran, they are the kafirin. This means that if a person from Aqidah perspective doesn't believe in the Quran, because from Aqidah our belief is that a murtakibul kabira, a person who commits a major sin, is not out of the fold of Islam until he believes it permissible. So this ayah, I think this question is based on the literal translation of this ayah. وَمَنْ, the person, لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ, who does not pass judgments based on that which Allah has revealed, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ, they are the kafirun. Meaning they pass judgments and they ruling, they are doing hukum with disbelief in the Quran, while disbelieving that which Allah has revealed. If they believe in that, yeah, they believe the Quran is right, but I don't want to follow it because what? Because it doesn't suit me, it's difficult for me, I want to follow British common law in my country, then they won't become a kafir. Otherwise, what about you and me? How many commands of Allah we know and we believe in, yet we don't follow? So, if you apply the same logic, then we will not remain Muslim. We know that Fajr is Farad and we are sleeping through it. So, we ourselves won't be Muslim too. The questioner should think about that. It's easy to say that King so-and-so and ruler so-and-so is a kafir. Like, I don't have any special, perhaps, love or attachment with Hosni Mubarak. Maybe he was a dictator, he killed so many people. But I can't just call him a kafir until I have some sari, clear, unambiguous evidence of a statement of kufr or action of kufr. He didn't rule according to Sharia law or any of these leaders. If they are Sunni Muslim, they believe in Allah, they say they are Muslim, then they are Muslim. They are maybe fasiq, like pretty much everyone else, unfortunately. Very few are those who do not commit major sins. So they are committing major sins, like everyone else is committing major sins. If they say, I do not believe in the Quran as a source of law, now that's a statement of kufr. And naqlul kufri laysa bi kufrin. I just narrated a statement of kufr. I didn't say I just narrated it. I don't believe that. Otherwise the Quran says that Allah has a son Isa and Uzair too. But it's narrating a statement. وَقَالَتِ الْيَهُودُ عُزَيْرٌ ibn Allah. The Yahud say that Uzair is son of Allah. Jesus is the son of God. It's in the Quran. But narrating a statement. وَقَالَتِ النَّصَارَى. And then Christians say Masih ibn Allah. Masih is the son of Allah. ذَلِكَ قَوْلٌ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. These are false allegations they have come up with on their own. So likewise, if a leader who governs other than the Quran will not become a kafir until he says, I don't believe in the Quran. The leader who's not even trying to follow the Quran is like the Muslim who's not even trying to get up for Fajr. He doesn't put an alarm clock. Right? So he's not even trying to put an alarm clock. So his alarm clock is at 7 a.m. after the sun rises. So he's planning to get up after sunrise. Yeah, the magnitude of the sin is in greater, but they're both sinful. They're both fasiqs. His responsibility extends to his whole kingdom. ألا كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Verily, each one of you is a shepherd and will be asked about his flock. Each one of you is responsible and will be asked about his area of his responsibility. And so, فَالْمَلِكُ رَاعٍ, فَالْإِمَامُ رَاعٍ, the Imam and the Malik, the king, is responsible for the entire kingdom and he'll be asked about them. And like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he wrote the letter to Hiraqal, you know the letter of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Heraclius, he wrote in there that min Muhammadin Abdillahi wa Rasulihi ila Hiraqal azim al-Rum wassalamu ala man ittaba al-huda. This is from Muhammad, the slave of Allah and the messenger, to Hiraqal, the great one of the Romans. He didn't say azimina, our great one, but he didn't say just a small little king has no. No, he said, you are a great king of the Romans. So he gave him respect, but he limited the respect to them. From the Romans' perspective, you are great in their eyes. Ila azim al-Rum. And he told him, Aslim taslam. He wrote there, accept Islam and you will be safe. And if you don't do so, alayka ithmul arisiyin, then upon you will be the sin of the entire kingdom. All the subjects in your kingdom, their kufr will be on your head. So that part is true. That since he's not implementing it, then the magnitude of his sin will be greater. But he is not a kafir. We are very trigger happy when it comes to kufr. That no, he's a kafir, that one's a kafir. Man qala li akhihi ya kafir faqad ba'a bihi ahaduhuma, aw kama qala alayhi salam. Sahih hadith, that the one who says to his brother, oh kafir, the one of the two is a kafir. And the second part to this question is it true that so long as a leader implements Sharia, you must obey him even if he is a fasiq? So, yes, if there's genuine Sharia law being applied in a country, and this is back when there was Darul Islam and a Khilafat in place, then if he commits sins, then it's still binding to follow him. Because in our deen, civil war is something really a last resort, something that we try to avoid as far as possible. Just because the king isn't praying Tahajjud Salah and isn't super righteous, doesn't give cause for rebellion. Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, he prayed salah behind Hajjaj bin Yusuf. Where's Abdullah bin Umar, Shaykh al-Sahaba, where's Hajjaj bin Yusuf? He said that this, وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. Creating fitna in the ummah is worse than killing. So try to maintain peace as far as possible. We shouldn't start revolutions and rebellions without the need to. That's the general rule. If that's the case, isn't the Islamic State applying Sharia law? Which means that we should obey so the ummah can be united? Absolutely false conclusion. Islamic State is not implementing Sharia law. They are actually destroying the Sharia law and giving a bad name for Sharia law. All the ulama and all our teachers and mashayikh unanimously got together and issued joint statements, even in South Africa, mashallah, that they are not following Sharia law. They are those who are assassinating the scholars of Sharia law. They are killing the muftis. They kill hundreds of muftis in Iraq and Syria. They're murdering them in their homes. They are not following Sharia law. Any of the youth here, open your ears and eyes and open your hearts and your minds, that don't ever fall into this trap. So it's not only, the Fox News might call them Islamic State, but the ulama call them the so-called Islamic State. They're not the real Islamic State. They have nothing to do with the Khilafah that's mentioned in the Quran, in the Hadith, or in our Tariq, Khilafat al-Rashida. They're farthest from that. Can you explain the concept of Isal al-Thawab and speak on Quran Khanis as well? So Isal al-Thawab is that when a person, he does a good deed and then he makes intention and he makes dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma awsil thawaba hadha, O Allah, allow the reward of this good deed to reach ruhi fulan, the soul of so and so. So the good deeds of those who are alive will benefit those who are dead. This is proven right from the Quran itself. والذين جاءوا من بعدهم يقولون ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. In Surah Al-Hashr, that after those who will come after the Ansar and Muhajirin, those who will come later, they come afterwards and they say, oh Allah, forgive us and forgive those who have passed away before us. So the living are making dua for the dead, and this is benefiting the dead. So the dua of the living will benefit the dead. In fact, the whole institution of Salatul Janaza is when living people perform salat and make dua, Allahumma firli hayyina mayitana, for the deceased one. So the reward, the benefit from the amal of the living is reaching the deceased. And Rasulullah also mentioned about sadaqatun jariyah, and also waladun salihun yad'u lahu. A righteous son makes dua for the father and does good deeds, the reward will go to the father. So if you do a good deed, then you say, oh Allah, the thawab of this good deed, allow it to reach the soul of so and so. This is permissible. But we don't find in the Sahaba radiallahu anhum the practice that they would all gather together and divide the siparas and dust them off, and then divide it, and then read, and then have a big party. On the third day, the Tijwa, on the 14th day, the Chelum, and then the annual Barsi, every anniversary. These rituals are not proven from Sunnah. So a person can recite Quran in any number of juz, any number of surahs, and make the dua that Allah allow the thawab of it go to the soul of the deceased. But collectively doing it is not proven from the Sunnah. The person who does any good deed and makes dua, Allah allow the thawab of this go to the ruh of so and so, then he will receive the good deed, the reward, as well as the one. It's not a transfer only, it's a double. He will receive it as well as the one. He makes the intention for it. Yes. Yeah, can you make, if you can make the niyyah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the thawab of this go to the entire ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's fine. Yeah, basically your parents are the one, if they taught you and you did good deeds and they trained you, educated you, then automatically because of their investment in you, whatever good deeds you do, the reward will go to your parents. But if you make that a specific intention, that will even more enforce it. You can make the intention, you will get more reward for that. You will get the reward for making intention on their behalf. Yeah, if a father and mother passed away and they did not give zakat, can the child give zakat on their behalf? Yeah, so a person, ideally, if he has not discharged zakat, he should have it in his will. That this is the outstanding zakat, this is the fidya for for my fast that I have missed, for prayers I have missed. But if it was not written, and then the child does it on their behalf, inshallah, it is hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept that on behalf of the deceased parents, even without their wasiyah. But it's a hope in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it's not the way to go. We should write it in our wasiyah. Yes, you can do a hajj. But you only will do a farad hajj on behalf of someone if it was farad on them to begin with. If it was never farad on the parent, because they were never financially capable, then they would not be farad on the parent to begin with. You can do it as a nafal hajj and make dua that the thawab of that goes to them as a gift. But you will not be doing the farad hajj on their behalf, hajjul badal, unless it was farad on them to begin with. Does a 60-day penalty include the one who breaks his fast accidentally? If a person breaks his fast accidentally, there's 1 day qada. This has been covered from multiple times, from the seminar we did. What about that individual was doing an activity that has the risk of breaking the fast, like swimming? Yeah, unless the person was intentionally drinking water down, then it will be penalty as well. But if a person was engaged in a risky behavior and ended up swallowing, like swimming, still it will be 1 qada. If you forgot your fasting, you will not break your fast even. Somebody is asking would like to send personal and private questions to an email, anonymous email. So the email, you can send it to info@dsfnd.org. info@dsfnd.org. I would like to receive answers to, can you give me a generic address? Can you please tell me what email I can send you? So info@dsfnd.org. DSFND is Dar es Salaam Foundation. It's on the website. Allahu Akbar. I am having trouble finding a reason to live. So this means a person is suffering severe depression, should get help right away. And this help can be in the form of counseling and other treatments. This life that you have is an amana, trust given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And taking that amanat away, and hurting it intentionally is absolutely haram. And don't take that step. This is a state of your mind that you're finding it difficult to live. But things can improve, will improve, if you rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. things, something is wrong internally in your mind. That's why everything around you seems so negative. It's like the person who is sick, and that's why even if you allow him to taste honey, the honey will taste bitter. Nothing's wrong with the honey. Honey is very sweet, intoxicantly sweet almost, too sweet to take in large quantities, but it tastes bitter because his tongue is something's wrong with him internally. So that's why things are seeming negative to you. They're not as bad as you imagine them to be. And if you get treatment, inshallah, you will feel better, inshallah. What should I do if adhan is called and I'm praying in the full prayer? The tahajjud prayer, for example, and the fajr adhan is called. Yeah, so when you start your prayer and the time ends, then that turns into, if you're praying a fard prayer, then it will become qada automatically. And over here, the tahajjud prayer, you should just finish it. If you're performing 4 rakat, just finish it on 2 rakat. But in the Hanafi fiqh, you shouldn't just break it in the middle. You should take the nearest exit. So if you're performing like 4 rakat sunnah in the farad start of dhuhr, then you go out and break it at 2. Complete it at 2. Don't break it in the middle. Don't just walk away. In the Hanafi fiqh at least. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, la tubtilu a'malakum. All those who believe, do not invalidate your actions. Yeah, if the salat started and you are already in your sunnah, then complete it at 2 rakat. No, then, if you can make the 2 up afterwards. Does Islam allow organ transplants? Yes, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي Adam, that human beings, their body, Allah has given them honor, and we should not be using body parts recklessly, and we should honor them in the way prescribed, but only because of dire necessity it's permissible, if that will help save life. Yeah, so basically, if there's a scenario, for example, to be an organ donor, if there is a person, for example, he is dying and he's a relative, and there's no kidney available for him. Right, I'm giving you an example of a kidney that we have 2 kidneys Allah has given us. So if there is no kidney available and at all, and they're saying basically he's going to face certain death, then to save a life, it would be permissible in that scenario to donate. But because extreme necessity only makes it halal, permissible. On the receiving end, it's permissible to receive because you are going to die without it, right? On the donating end, in general, if there are others, non-Muslims and others, I'm explaining it this way because otherwise it seems really one-sided. It's permissible to take, not permissible to give. How is that? That's not fair. So the reason is, is there a dire necessity on you to give? If there are people already donating, there are organs available, people are receiving them, okay. But if there is someone, a Muslim, and your kidney would match, then it would be permissible to donate to save your brother or your sister or sibling, someone in your family. But in general, on your driving license, when you go, you wouldn't necessarily donate all your body parts to science or research. Yeah, so this is a mujtahid fi issue. This is a new issue in which there are different fuqaha would perhaps give different rulings. Would it be permissible? The question he's asking is, a person will not die. He could continue to live his life with dialysis, and it's just going to improve the quality of his life. So you're not necessarily, is there extreme necessity to donate or not? Perhaps, what's the threshold? So this is a gray area. And there would be perhaps, there are muftis who would say, no, don't. And this is where you apply your own taqwa and follow which fatwa you can. There are certain issues which are clear-cut, halal and haram. This is not one of those issues. Yeah, that's permissible. If you're receiving a donor from a cadaver, from a dead body, even a non-Muslim, if it's going to, I can't hear this fan. I can't hear what you're saying. Yeah, the sins of that person who donated has nothing to do with it spiritually. The sins of the donor, will not transfer to you if you have the kidney of a kafir who was before, because that's from his soul. His ruh was the body was the love that was carrying that soul. Yeah, if he's on the receiving end, then there's definitely much more relaxation in the fatwa. The donating end is really iffy. In general, it's not permitted to donate unless there's extreme dire necessity, because you're giving an organ. But on the receiving end, if you're going to die without the organ transplant, then it makes it much easier, fiqhi perspective, to give a permission of permissibility. But you're not going to die if you don't donate. So it's permissible to take, not permissible to give. Then where are you going to come from if there are other donors out there who are giving it and regard it permissible? Postmortem, and if it's mandated by law for some reason, then you have no say in it, then fine. Otherwise, if it's something that's elective that you choose to do, then that's haram. Cutting up the dead body, that's why transporting the dead body, if it requires a postmortem, then transporting the dead body across the ocean back to Pakistan that would not be permissible. It's haram. People do that, unfortunately. And embalming of the body. Right. All the organs are the same. Is it right to have a separate jamaat for Isha during Taraweeh prayers? So, it has been noticed in this masjid that two separate jamaats in one individual jamaat with loud voice were prayed during main Taraweeh prayers. As far as I know, only one jamaat is allowed. After completion of main jamaat, second can follow. Possible solution, please correct me if I'm wrong. The latecomer can join main Taraweeh prayer with the niyat of Isha, and after two prayers in Jamaat, they can get up and complete 4 rakat of Isha. Alright, so basically, they're asking about multiple Jamaats. There's a few things here. In the Hanafi fiqh, multiple Jamaats in a masjid is not permitted. It's not allowed. But outside of Taraweeh, for example, say it's a normal Isha. So if the Isha time, there's a Jamaat taking place in the masjid, it's set at 8 o'clock, but you have a party, you have a lot of people over, and you have, say, 50 people at your house, and you say that, don't worry about it, I'm just serving the food, the buffet is ready now, we all eat, and then we'll all go to the masjid, and we can have a bigger Jamaat. There's going to be only 10 people there, we are 50, we'll perform at 9 o'clock. So people, if it's allowed to have a second Jamaat, then the sanctity of the first Jamaat will be lost. People comfortably say that we have a bigger group, we can come pray a second Jamaat at 9 o'clock, we can pray at 9:30, 10 o'clock, whenever it's more convenient for us. So there will be the purpose of the Jamaat is that everyone gathers together and perform it together. That purpose will be lost. With the exception if it's like a masjid in the airport or on the train station. So this is for people to come pray and leave in their groups. As their flights are going to be boarding, they will come in different groups and make Jamaats and leave. That's fine. But if it's a masjid in a community, and there are some mawquf narrations, meaning some Sahaba radiallahu anhu fatwa like Abdullah bin Masud about this, that there should be no two Jamaats, there should be no second Jamaat, third Jamaat in a masjid. Ji? No. Yeah, go for the Jamaat, right. And but what happens, so this is the general fatwa, but in the Hanafi fiqh, there are two opinions about the second Jamaat being prohibited. One is that It's prohibited, completely prohibited, any scenario. You should not have any second Jamaat in a masjid. And the second opinion of Sahibain, Imam Abu Yusuf, Imam Muhammad, is that the second Jamaat is only prohibited if it's performed in the exact manner as the first one, meaning in the front. But if you perform it in the back, it's permissible. Like Mufti Radaul Haq, he gives preference to this fatwa. He says that if our teacher, that if the Jamaat is performed in the back, he says the illat and the reasoning behind why the second Jamaat is prohibited is because you're going to remove the sanctity of the sanctity of the first Jamaat will be lost. But that's not the case because you're doing it in a corner. So many people, they do it outside the masjid. That's the safest from the Hanafi perspective. But even if they do it in the back, according to the Hanafi madhab as well, there's permission for that. What's not permissible is if you do it right from the front. Okay? Because you're doing it from the front, on the musalla, in the mihrab, in the mic, it looks just like the first Jamaat. So then there's no difference between the one Jamaat of the masjid. There's supposed to be one Salat al-Isha, one Salat al-Fajr, one Dhuhr, one Asr, one Maghrib. And Jummah also, the multiple Jamaats is only permitted because of extreme need. If you don't need to have multiple Jummahs, you're only supposed to have one Jummah. So it's only because everyone can't be accommodated in the one Jummah, then the fuqaha said, okay, fine. Because of necessity, you have a second Jummah and a third Jummah.
In some masajids, they have like the main prayer hall, and then they have a dedicated section, and they say it's like it's outside the masjid, like musalla.
Yeah. If they have a dedicated musalla area and then they have outside the masjid area, like the lobby, then according to the stricter opinion of Hanafi fiqh, it's permissible to make Jamaat there. And according to the lax opinion, anywhere in the musalla as well in the back.
So, like, I want to give a specific example.
This Plains has a Villa Park.
Right by the stairs, they have like a tape and they say that this is the area. I mean, what I've heard is.
Yeah, if they have a tape and if the people who are the ones who made waqf for the masjid, they decreed that this area, this boundary is outside the masjid, then even according to the stricter opinion, it's permissible to perform Jamaat there. And according to the another valid opinion within the Hanafi school, it's still permissible to perform Jamaat in the masjid as long as it's in the back. That's what I'm saying. Yes, it's permissible. But now over here in Taraweeh, what's happening is that if you're performing loud Jamaat, then there's another issue that you are disturbing the main Jamaat. If you're reading, and I was never back there, alhamdulillah, so far, but I happened to be up here in the front. But I heard from others that sometimes it gets really, mashallah, long qirats, and really long, they're just going all out there, huh? Is that true? Lambi surtein suna rahe hain, right? So the people are like, what in the world, I want to get and join the Taraweeh, I'm already missing so many rakats, and this guy is going on and on. So if that's the case, if it's very loud, then it's something to avoid because of disturbance to the main Jamaat, which is a very obvious thing. So you can perform it individually. A 4,000. Arba'atu alaf malak, right. If an individual recites the Quran and makes khatam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send 4,000 angels. This is a hadith. Man khatam al-Qur'ana thumma da'a. Man khatam, man is aam. From Usul Shashi, man is aam. It's aam. It means whoever finishes the Quran and makes dua. Whoever that may be. Whichever son of Adam and daughter of Hawa. Yeah, this is, I don't want to, it's easy for people to say it's a hadith sahih, but sahih has a specific connotation from hadith term, istilah, so I cannot, it's valid from a fadail point of view, it's valid. We have the hadith here, I believe it's in Bayhaqi, I can check up the sanad. I don't want to necessarily pass a judgment, hukum on the sanad of the hadith, but it is from min bab al-fadail, right? It's not mawdu', inshallah. Yeah, if you recite Qul Huwallahu Ahad 3 times, then what that's based on is that there is a hadith about Qul Huwallahu Ahad being like equivalent to 1/3 of the Quran. Right? Because the Quran talks about Tawheed, Risala in Akhirah, and Surah Ikhlas speaks about Tawheed very beautifully and very, very strongly speaks about Tawheed. Qul, say Allah is the one. He is independent of His creation. He is neither he has any offspring nor is He begotten, and none of His creation is like unto Him. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. So it's a strong emphasis of Tawheed. So that's why it's 1/3 of the Quran in that. So that's why it said, okay, if you recite it 3 times, inshallah you will get the reward of the whole Quran. But this is called thawab fadli. This is not kasbi. One is you recite the whole Quran, then you get the kasbi reward. One is you get a bonus reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I gave the example before. Do you remember the example, anyone? Yeah, the PhD. Anyone else remember about what does the PhD mean? Yeah, I said like this happened with respect to somebody they were making fun of. I don't want to take his name here in the masjid. Some head of state, they're making fun of him, how ignorant he is, how illiterate he is. But he came here and he got an honorary PhD from Harvard. So one is a genuine PhD, a person worked 15 years and receives, and one is an honorary PhD. So they're both PhDs. But one is a real one and one is honorary, just given as an honor. So this is, if there's, like if you perform Ishraq, you get the fadl from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives a reward of Hajj and Umrah. Inshallah. But the one who actually does Hajj and Umrah, he'll get at minimum 10 times the reward of that. Man ja'a bil hasana falahu ashru amthaliha. It's not equivalent. You spend, $14,000 on your Hajj package, and I just pray 2 rakats is the exact same thing. You inshallah will be rewarded on every cent he spent. And this person the solution he presents is that you just join the Taraweeh with the intention of Isha and pray 2 rakat, and then when the Imam says salam, you get up. That's not permissible in the Hanafi fiqh. This is Masalatul Muftarid Khalf al Mutanaffil. Person performing farad behind nafil. You should not do that. No, I did not come across that. How does one know or differentiate between whether an issue actually has ikhtilaf or people just like to make it so? How can we know? This is a very good question, because the differences yet you see people practicing, it's over here, it's not only from subcontinent where people practice Hanafi madhab, or in Turkey or other places like that, or it's not only Egypt where people are following Shafi'i madhab, for example. It's people from all over the world are here mixed. So you see all different types of practices. Some of them are valid differences of opinion, different madhab, and others are newly invented matters. So everything we see that's different is not a Shafi'i madhab issue or Hanbali madhab. Many of them are just the new American madhab. So how do you know? The only way, honestly, to know, in this question raises up an important thing, is to acquire knowledge. You have to study the madhahib. You have to study fiqh, or ask someone who knows. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you don't know, ask someone who knows. So people go into extremes on this. Either they're so paranoid of anything new. They see somebody raising his hand, somebody saying Ameen loud, somebody doing this, they'll say, oh, this person is performing salah in the wrong manner. And the other, whereas that's a genuine madhab, and it's a respectable opinion of the Shafi'i madhab and the Hanbali madhab. Whereas, on the other hand, people are making masah on, for example, socks, which is not permitted in any of the madhab. Or the people are on nylon socks, or people are eating carrion, dead meat, maita, that is not slaughtered, zabiha. That's not any madhab. People are following calculation, that's not in any madhab. All the madhab believe in moon sighting. So you find all of these differences. Some of them are newfangled interpretations and bid'at and innovations and wrong conclusions that people are reaching for convenience sake, and some are genuine differences of opinion which need to be respected. Not only tolerated is a weak word, in fact should be respected and accepted. So how do you tell the difference? This question brought up an important point. How do you know? Only through the light of ilm. That means we have to acquire knowledge. That's how we will be able to tell the difference. My watch died. Is it time for Ishraq? 2 minutes. Okay. I kept this card on the side, last to mention it at the end. It says here, I read it verbatim as is written. Please make announcement for kids to go to sleep after Ishraq. They make noise, they laugh, and bother everyone, period. Alright, so somebody wrote this in here. Please make announcement for kids. This is genuinely, I leave it up here, you guys can come and see it, the kids. Why? Because I already told you, but now the people who are the victims of your noise, they are also complaining. And what did إِذَاءُ الْمُسْلِمِ حَرَامٍ, harming Muslims is haram. So we came here to earn good rewards, not to incur sins. So please make announcement for kids. So I am making an announcement for kids to go to sleep after Ishraq. So, and do not make noise, do not laugh. You laughed enough already? No more laughing. And don't bother anyone, inshallah. Okay, Jazakallah khair. So let's perform, recite Surah Yasin, make khatam and dua, and perform Ishraq.